0% APR has started to grow in popularity a lot. Sometimes companies will offer 0% APR, sometimes they offer buy now, pay later, but it's all the same thing. At the end of the day, a lot of people assume that they're getting a great deal because they get to buy something and you don't have to pay for it today. You can pay it off in installments. But there's a reason why 0% APR is so profitable for companies and banks. It's because so many people are going to end up buying more stuff than they normally would when you spend money at 0% APR. And then if you overspend too much and you cannot make the payments, well, now you're going to get slapped with 15 to 25% interest. So the first thing you want to do when it comes to spending your money smartly is you got to understand the difference between an asset and a liability. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. If it is an asset, then we talked about that here, leave your money. But if it's a liability and it's taking money out of your pocket, don't finance it. Pay for it in cash up front. That means no more 0% APR. One of the easiest things that you can do is just follow my rule of 5. If you cannot buy 5 of them, then you cannot afford 1 of them. So when we're talking about spending your money, you're gonna have to stop spending so much money on crap that you don't need. Second, when we're talking about smart spending, that means now you gotta start driving a car that is not costing you money every single month. That means you should be driving a car that's paid for in cash and stop financing a car that's costing you money every single month, because your car is a liability. It's losing value every single day that you drive it, and on top of that, when you finance it, you're paying interest to drive something that's losing value. So instead of doing that, buy a car that you can buy in cash and now drive that. That way now you can take this extra cash that you were spending every single month, the $300 to $700 a month that you were paying on your car payment, put that right here, and now put this money towards your investments to help you build your wealth a whole lot faster. Now, you might hear that and say, Jaspreet, I have a $40,000 car. You expect me to buy $40,000 with the car in cash? No, I'm not saying that you have to do that. But if you're driving a $40,000 car, you had to bring $8,000 to the closing table to buy that car. What I want you to do is take $8,000 and go out and buy a used car with $8,000. Now drive this $8,000 car without a car payment and take the other $32,000 plus interest that you were financing for your car and put that money towards your investments. Once you can afford to drive a $40,000 car without having to worry about the price, hey, be my guest, go out and drive it. I want you to have a nice car. But I don't want you to drive a nice car at the sacrifice of your wealth. I like nice cars. Now I'm a little bit extreme, but the first time I made $1 million in a year, not $1 million net worth, $1 million in a year, I drove a car that was barely worth $500, worth less than a fraction of one day's income. I could have driven a much nicer car. But the reason why I did that was because I understood if I went out and bought a $100,000 car, I could have bought it with cash. It wouldn't have really affected me. But that's $100,000 I would not be putting towards my investments. Even today, I'm still driving that $500 car, and my accountant keeps pushing me to go out and buy another car, and he keeps laughing at the car that I'm driving. But for me, it's not that important for me to go out and buy a car yet, because I'm investing money into my own companies. I'm investing my money into real estate. I'm investing my money aggressively into so many different places, and it doesn't make sense for me to go out and buy another car, because that's $50,000 to $150,000 that I can use to invest back into my companies and back into the things that I want to own right now. For me, a car is not as important as my future wealth and the wealth for my family and for my generations to come. This step might seem obvious, but a lot of times we don't realize how good we have it. My parents came to this country with less than $100. And so I saw what it was like to live below your means and to live small, because now you're trying to squeeze pennies everywhere, because that's the only way you can grow and get to the next level. And when you go to another country like India and you see how the people are living over there, then you really start to appreciate all the luxuries that you have here, and you don't realize how many things that you have here that people around the world would be killing for and would die for. Like in my house, our family house in India, we still don't have electricity 24 hours a day. We still don't have running water 24 hours a day. So there's a lot of things that you can cut back on that will help you build that wealth faster, but you have to be willing to make that sacrifice, put in that work today, that way you can have that wealth tomorrow. You gotta create your priorities. What's important for you right now? Is it more important for you to fund your retirement and build that wealth? Or are you trying to pay for your kids' college? Because if you're paying for your kids' college, you're not paying for your wealth and your retirement, and then someone else is gonna have to pay for you to retire. And if your kids don't do it for you, then you're gonna keep working. Fifth, you gotta earn more money. When you ask most people right now, what will solve their financial problems, almost everybody is gonna say, I don't make enough money. If I just made more money, all my money problems would be solved, except the reality is that's not how it works. Because for most people, if you fall across a big lump sum of money, you win the lottery, you get a big inheritance. If you win a lot of money, what happens? Most people are gonna lose all of that money, all of the millions in 5 years or less, because you don't know how to manage your money. And even if we look at this on a smaller scale, when you go out and you get a raise, or you get a promotion, you get a bonus, what happens? Well, it's time to celebrate by going on vacation. It's time to celebrate by getting a better car. And so what happens? Your income goes up and then boop, your expenses magically go up with it. So this is why I say that you need to start earning more money here once you understand how to use your money, because once you know this is where earning more money has the most value and the most benefit, because now you can take this extra money that you're earning and flow it through your system. This means you can work harder at your job. Maybe try to get a promotion. Maybe try to get a raise. Maybe try to start a side hustle. Become an independent contractor, get a second job, whatever you got to do this week and start earning more money, because now when you earn more money, it's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck, because now you can take this extra money and flow it through your system. You know how to build wealth now. You have the tools in place, but you just need more money going through your funnel. And now you got to remember, you need to have the right mindset, because you need to have a growth mindset. Because a lot of people assume now that the way that you become wealthy faster is by now squeezing more money out of your funnel. You make $50,000 a year, you're putting aside 15 grand. How can you put aside 20 grand? How can you squeeze more pennies out of your pie? But that's a limited, scarce mindset. What I want you to think is, okay, I'm making 50 grand right now. How can I take that to 500 grand? Because now you can have a lot more room for you to take money out of your pie to put towards building your wealth, but that requires you to have a growth mindset. Most people are trying to squeeze more pennies out of their paychecks, but what I want you to do is think about how do you make your paycheck bigger, which means how could you earn more money, and this is a whole skill and talent on its own. Maybe you do this through your job, maybe you do this outside of your job, you got to know yourself. Starting a business is not for everybody, but you have to know what's right for you, and you have to be willing to try things, and you have to be willing to fail. And finally, the last thing you got to do is you got to plan. You need to plan to be great. The first thing you got to do is you got to plan for what happens if things go wrong. This means having something like life insurance in place, because now as you're starting to build wealth, you want to make sure that your family is okay in case a tragedy happens, in case something happens to you. But you want to make sure you do life insurance right. Our team put together an article if you want to learn more about that. I'll link that for you in the description if you want to learn more about life insurance. But that also means having things like a will or estate planning, because now as you are building your wealth, the last thing you want to happen is for people to start fighting over your money. Now what's going to happen? Let me just tell you this, because once you start having money, people are going to try to take their hands, put it in your wallet, and take some of that money for themselves. So you want to make sure you have shields in place. You want to have something like a will or estate planning. That way when you're gone, that your money is protected and your money is going to go where you want it to go. That also means having things like insurance in place. So we just talked about life insurance, but other insurances in place to protect you, because when people find out you have money, they're going to want to get some of that for themselves. So you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself. Have a good team of people around you. This might mean having business insurance. This might mean having real estate insurance, having the proper financial insurance around you, but then also having the right attorneys, the right accountants around you, because you want to make sure that you're protecting your money and not just giving it away. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.